So, Steve, you have a
Yes.
number of cybersecurity predictions for 2023. So, talk to me about what you're expecting we see this year.
Unfortunately, I think the best way of characterizing 2023 is things aren't going to be as bad as you think. They're going to be so much worse. It just is, it's shaping up to be really, really difficult, both on a national and international level, and for all of us as individuals. Um, One of the big things is, all of the technological booms that we have, particularly artificial intelligence, which is being used for so many good things, is also able to be used by criminals and cyber criminals to make their various scams more effective. Particularly, we're going to see deepfake technology. And deepfake technology you may be familiar with as far as having someone appear in a video. We used to see, kind of funny ones where someone would be looking like President Obama or others. But it can be done with both video and audio. And in fact, in Germany, there was a company that was the victim of a cyber attack using deepfake technology. They went online, went on YouTube actually, and got audio of the CEO. And they used that audio with artificial intelligence to place a phone call to one of their subsidiaries in England and convince them to send a couple of $100,000 to scammers. So we're going to see artificial intelligence used by criminals, because it is so available, to really enhance the kind of scams and crimes that they're doing.
This, I mean, one of the things I think a lot of us, say to protect ourselves is like, oh, I can spot a scam because, there'll be spelling errors in the email and things like that. This seems like the scammers are way more advanced than we are at this point with some of this stuff.
They really are. And, another one of my mottos is trust me, you can't trust anyone. And in fact, a lot of scams are going to be coming through text messages. They're going to be coming through social media. They're coming through emails. And they may appear to be coming from people who you trust or institutions who you trust. And I think using that motto of trust me, you can't trust anyone, anytime you are asked for personal information, or you're asked to click on a link or download an attachment, you really have to be skeptical and you have to check it out ahead of time. And companies, this is part of the problem, companies aren't doing this. Last year, 74% of American companies were successfully attacked in phishing attacks, spear phishing attacks. They get an email. It looks like it's legitimate. It may even look like it's coming from someone within the company, or it deals with something that the person is relating to, that they like, that they do. Maybe they're a fan of a particular band, who knows? But the bottom line is they trust it, they click on the link, they provide the information, and the company or the person get attacked.
So, I mean, there's only so much we can do to protect ourselves at some point. We also have to think about the companies that are managing our data that's out there, and the likelihood that it will be leaked. What else can you do to prepare for that inevitable, hey, my social security number is exposed on the dark web? I mean, how do we prevent and protect ourselves against stuff like that?
That's such a good question, Emily, because you hit it on the head. Last year, there were 212 million victims of data breaches in the United States. And no matter how good you are at protecting your personal information, like you said, you are always as vulnerable as the most vulnerable companies. And a lot of companies just aren't taking the steps they need. So the first thing is, you don't give your social security number out willy-nilly to any company that asks for it. And so, for instance, your physician may ask for your social security number. They don't need it. The hospital may ask for your social security number. They don't need it. And so whenever possible, limit the places that you give personal information. The other thing, we have to, count on Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong. So there will be data breaches. And the data breaches affect us a couple of ways. One way is, as you indicated, maybe it's our social security number or other information that gets stolen. So you have to kind of plan on that. So one of the things you do is you use dual factor authentication whenever you can with your bank accounts and really with everything. Because the bottom line is your password could be stolen. You could even be tricked to giving up your password. But if you have if you're using dual factor authentication, you're going to be protected, and that will help. The other thing is to recognize that a lot of times in these data breaches, information about us, maybe not directly leading to us becoming a victim of the scam, but information about us that criminals can use to form what we call spear phishing emails. A spear phishing email is not just the phishing email supposedly from a company that you may or may not do anything with, but it deals with something that you're familiar with, or it comes from a company that you do business with. They have personal information, and sometimes we're the biggest problems with getting that personal information because we put too much up on social media. And the criminals are always looking at social media and take that information, and then they call it social engineering. They tailor a spear phishing email to us that lures us into clicking on a link or providing information.
Steve, any other advice as we head deeper into 2023 and scammers get more sophisticated? Any other advice for folks?
Yeah, as long as we're scaring everybody, we say you want to freeze your credit. That's a really important thing because it's a fail-safe. Even if someone gets your information, they're not going to be able to access your credit and get loans in your name. And we also, say, as we were just discussing, you want to use dual factor authentication whenever possible. So if and when you become attacked and someone has your password, you're not going to be vulnerable. But remember, with dual factor authentication, most of the time, the way this works is you go online and then a short code is sent to your cell phone. And then you're able to use that cell phone. Well, there's something called SIM swapping. The SIM card is the guts of your phone. And what the criminals have been doing is contacting your phone carrier, posing as you, answering a question, a security question. Usually they're pretty easy to find the answers to. And they have your SIM card swapped into their phone. They don't even have to be physically present to do so. So that even with your password, they can then get the dual factor authentication code and access your accounts. So fortunately, there is an easy way around this, and that is you can do it two ways. You can use the belt suspenders or belt and suspenders. So what you can do is you can have a special pin that your SIM card cannot be swapped unless that pin is used. And then if you're a bit paranoid like I am, and like I make people who talk to me be, you can actually have it so that your SIM card cannot be switched unless you are physically present at, say, the Verizon store or AT&T. And that's something also that a lot of us don't do, and we really should.
Yeah, that's great advice. And, horrifying that there's so many workarounds for scammers these days. We actually, last year, our accountant's office got hacked. So we had made it so many years without having our tax refund stolen. And then last year we did, but I got the PIN and everything this year. So,
Good.
even though, and I keep my credit frozen. So even though all the information is out there, at least, we won't get that stolen this year.
Yep. No, you did the right thing.
Anything else that I didn't ask you, Steve?
You're thinking more in terms of people or kind of what's going to happen with the country.
Okay. Yeah. Do you, yeah, I'll take any predictions in terms of what's going to happen with the country.
All right. Unfortunately, when we're looking at the times that we're in, there is cyber warfare going on between countries like us, China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. And quite frankly, our power grid and our water supplies are very, very much in danger. The critical infrastructure, that's something that we have to worry about. And then there's an interesting aspect to international cybercrime, and that is Interpol once estimated there were only about 100 cyber criminal geniuses in the world. but they don't commit all the crimes. What they do is they go onto the dark web, that part of the internet that criminals buy and sell and lease information, and they will sell or lease the malware they create with the delivery systems, so less sophisticated criminals are able to make the kind of ransomware attacks that we see attacking hospitals and governments and others. And quite frankly, this what we call malware as a service is going to only increase in 2023.
And in terms of people warnings and
Yeah.
predictions?
As far as people, I think the biggest thing is be careful with, don't make life easy for the scammers. Don't put up too much information on social media. Look at your privacy settings in your social media, because so often this is where criminals are having the work done for them. They get all the information they need about us from social media, and then they use that against us. So before you put something up, make sure you know who it's going to and how it might be able to be used against you.
Perfect. Steve, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All righty. Have a good one.